for an affirmation at the beginning of their term of office and declared to undertake the duties of the office of council in best interest of the people of the Broken Hill local government area, the city of Broken Hill, and that they will faithfully and impartially carry out functions, powers, authorities and discretions vested in them under the Local Government Act or any other act to the best of their ability and judgment. This council meeting is being streamed live via YouTube and recorded and published by our council's website. To those present in the gallery today, by attending or participating in this public meeting and consenting to your image, voice and comments being recorded and published, the Mayor and/or General Manager have the authority to pause or terminate the stream if comments or debate are considered defamatory or otherwise inappropriate for publishing. Attendees are advised that they may be subject to legal action if they engage in unlawful behaviour or commentary. We have 3 apologies and leave of absence. Councillor Turley, Councillor Boland and Councillor Jewett. Can we have a mover and acceptor for a leave of absence and apology be granted? Moved Councillor Gillett, seconded Councillor Chandler. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Call on Councillor Gillett for the prayer.
Almighty God, we ask you to invoke your blessing upon this council. Direct and prosper our deliberations to the advancement and true welfare of the people of the council area, our state and Australia. Amen.
Thank you, Councillor Edgecombe.
We acknowledge the traditional owners of the land upon which we meet today, the land of the Willakali people, and pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging.
Thank you, Councillor Allgate.
We take time to reflect, remember and honour the over 800 miners that lost their lives and those that were crippled or maimed on the line of load. We thank the brave miners and their wives that were part of the 1919-1920 strike that lasted over 500 days and delivered a 35-hour working week. Mining is our past and our future.
Thank you, Councillor Allgate. Do we have a mover for the minutes to be confirmed? Move Councillor Page, seconded Councillor Hickey. All those in favour? Any comments on the minutes or alterations? No. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Disclosures of interest. Are there any disclosures of interest for councillors? No. We move on to Merrill Minute. Merrill Minute is the Sydney to Broken Hill passenger train service, that the Merrill Minute be received, that correspondence be sent to the Minister for Regional Transport, the Honourable Jenny Atkinson MP, and local member Roy Butler, advocating for more regular passenger train service to Broken Hill via Parks by utilising the current trains when the new fleet is introduced in December 2026. Do we have a seconder for that? Seconded Deputy Mayor Hickey. As all councillors or people in general, the public in general in Broken Hill know the importance of train services in Broken Hill. To have one train service from Sydney makes it very difficult to use because it's a week between pick up and drop off, which doesn't allow for continuity of service. By introducing a second one, it means that you can go down early in the or later in the week and come back early in the week, and vice versa. It allows for tourists to come to Broken Hill, but also people from Broken Hill to go to appointments and come back. Councillor Page.
Yes, Mr Mayor, I've made 2 trips on the train, 2 or 3, and I know at least on 2 occasions the train broke down, and then we went on an outback tour. Didn't arrive into this town until after midnight, didn't have a taxi to pick us up, and the bloke driving the bus was quite prepared to leave us all sit on the footpath, but he soon found out that wasn't going to happen. So I took some of the passengers back to my house and put them up for the night. So the train, it's very much needed, but the poor old thing that's on there, it's gone past its use-by date.
Without a doubt. Any other speakers? Councillor Deputy Mayor Hickey.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor Kennedy. I think they did a survey on this train. So many people told me that they won't go by the bus. The bus is just too uncomfortable, too long, too hard. But they would go by train. I think if they did a survey, they'd find that it is warranted. And especially they give out, for pensioners, a ticket that you can't use because there's no suitable service to use it on. So, I think we should ride again. And yeah, thank you.
Yeah. we've got the proof that it does work, because in the past, when we had a better train service and including the Indian Pacific, it was often full. So if the service is a benefit to the community, they will use it. So all we can do is keep on letting the state government know the importance of it, and hopefully at some stage they take notice and that service is back to what it used to be. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. We have nil notices of motion, nil rescission motions, nil reports from delegates. We move to corporate and community development. Report item number 1 is the event sponsorship. It's on page 23 of the business paper. We have a mover for that.
Move the recommendation.
Moved councillor Allgate, seconded Deputy Mayor Hickey. Councillor Allgate.
As it was pointed out at the committee, I think instead of giving them money first up, we should be, as a council, we should be looking at what benefits there might be from a tourism perspective. And based on that, an MOU was accepted as the way to go, the same as St Pat's and other organisations that we've had in similar circumstances. It's fine to just come and ask for a fairly significant grant, and it's not a proven event that attracts people to Broken Hill. And I think from a tourism point of view, and from the council's point of view in terms of the tourist association that is still not operative as far as I'm aware, it needs to be, the whole thing needs to be assessed and money given on a merit basis, not just an open hand giveaway.
Thank you, councillor Allgate. Do we have any other speakers? Deputy Mayor Hickey.
Thanks, Mayor Kennedy. Yeah, look, and I agree with Councillor Allgate on that. But the other ones, the Monday Bash, the St Pat's, and the new MOU for St Pat's are all very, very important for Broken Hill. They just have to be there, and they have proven their worth well and truly. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other speakers? All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Item number 2 is the minutes of the 355 Advisory Committee held in February. We have on page 27. Do we have a mover for that? Moved councillor Gillett, seconded councillor Chandler. Councillor Gillett? No? Any speakers to that? No. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Item number 3 is the minutes of the Ageing Well Advisory Committee meeting held in February. We have a mover for that. It's on page 36.
Move the recommendations as written.
Moved councillor Allgate, seconded Deputy Mayor Hickey. Councillor Allgate?
Thanks, Mr Mayor. It was a well-attended meeting. There were 2 meetings, February 4 and March 11, and some of the matters that have been concerning the committee and the public in generally appear to be resolved. The availability of transport has been an ongoing issue throughout the town for all involved, and particularly the elderly, in lots of situations getting out to the Clyde Bishop Medical Centre, to and from the hospital and so on. But now, with the group that have set up Silver City Transport Co-op, they're well prepared to provide a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week service. They have a range of vehicles, rideshare, taxi, and bus-type vehicles that include 2 wheelchair-equipped vehicles. So we look like we've all of a sudden fallen on our feet, and that one big problem that existed with the movement of elderly people who are unwell looks like being well on the way to being solved. One of the other things was the Dementia Cafe. It was due to open every Thursday between 10 and 12 at the Lane Street Seniors Lounge, the old Northmont Hall. It is in its infancy, and it's going to be looked at in terms of the availability of staff and attendances. Home care packages are a problem in terms of so much uncertainty in the fee structures, still unresolved to a big degree. The fact that the government placed a cap on 10% on service providers to cap their administration fees at 10%. The service providers have then gone around and overcome this by adding 30 to 40% in some of their service fees. That's been a real problem for people that are currently receiving personal home care services, and it's aggravated by the fact that there are 4 service providers in Broken Hill, and every provider has decided not to take domestic or gardening, not to give domestic or gardening services to new clients. They'll continue to honour the existing clients that are receiving those, but at the new fee structure, and some have already backed out because the fee structure is too high. But if there's any new customers, they'll only provide personal care services and not any of the domestic and gardening services, which is a big loss for some people. The questions were raised at the March 11 meeting about waiting lists for home care assessment packages, and whilst there is a waiting list, Judy Parr, who's abreast of all these aged care matters, said that they were still being conducted in a timely manner and there wasn't a problem in that respect. The meeting was also addressed by Dane Cross, the consultant from Spinal Life Australia. He addressed the meeting in respect to the provision of facilities for people with impairments of all types, in terms of what do you call them, wheelchair ramps, steps and trips to be eliminated, all sorts of things that we might take for granted that are a problem to those who have different disabilities. And at the end of his presentation, it was nice to hear that he congratulated the council for the stand that they have taken in respect to providing facilities with a view to looking after the people that are disabled or impaired in any way. And he said that we are streets in front of most other councils. So I think that we should take that as being a really good thing. That's about it, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Allgate. Any other speakers? No, look, I think the important thing is that the administration costs of some of these providers are out of hand, and then to reduce, the government reduces it in a hope of reducing costs to people, but in reality, those costs then are passed on to people. Council used to work on a model that was probably the best in the country when we had our HAC services. It was provided at an affordable cost and provided to everyone that needed it. So just recently at a conference, local government conference, they're now asking councils to now re-establish their groups. Well, it's very difficult to re-establish something that's been broken by the federal government by saying they could no longer be part of it. Then the federal government realises just how ineffective or inefficient they are. So they implement it, and now there's been a cost blowout, and those cost blowouts are then passed on to the people that use those services. Perhaps they should, when they consult, actually listen to the people that they're consulting and take notice right from the start when they're told that it likely won't succeed if you do what you are doing, particularly in regional New South Wales or regional Australia. But because they're Sydney city-based and they go along with what suits them, and ultimately it costs us out here in regional Australia more than it costs them in Sydney. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Item number 4 is the minutes of the Picton Oval Sports Ground Committee meeting held in February. It's on page 46 of the business paper. Do we have a mover for that? Moved councillor Page, seconded
No.
councillor Chandler. Councillor Page?
Yes, I had to attend, or didn't have to, I wanted to attend a wedding, so I was out of town for the meeting, so but they are a hard-working committee and they've got a good history of doing a good job.
They most definitely have. Any other speakers? All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Item number 5 is the minutes of the section 355 Broken Hill Art Gallery Advisory Committee held in February. Do we have a mover for that? Move councillor Gillett, seconded
Yes, seconded.
councillor Allgate. Councillor Gillett?
I'd just like to say that with our acquisition process, there were some interesting items up for grabs. And also there was a lot of things to take into account as far as storage and how much it was going to cost to store them for the next lifetime of the artworks.
If councillor Gillett would accept that we have number 3, that the acquisitions policy in the future include the value or financial value of the pieces that are to be donated, and also the cost to council to keep those pieces as an indefinite art acquisition. Happy to accept that, councillor Allgate. Any other words? The reason I moved that is because the reality is that the art gallery has a budget that is, without increasing rates or taking it from other services, a set budget that will increase roughly by CPI each year. If you're only increasing by CPI and you're adding additional expenses to your art collection every year without taking that into account, what tends to happen is it means that there's less money to be spent across the board, that then can reduce the quality of the service. And for me, the art gallery is a really important asset for not just the council, but an asset for the community. It's one that we need to ensure that as we use that art gallery, make sure that it is of a standard that the people of Broken Hill and people that come into Broken Hill expect. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Item number 6 is the Memorial Oval Community Meeting for December 25, January 26 and February 26 on page 58. You'd like to move that, councillor Edgecombe? Yeah. Move councillor Edgecombe, seconded councillor Allgate. Councillor Edgecombe?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The committee's been doing really well. It has new signatories for the bank accounts, and the invoicing to recoup money owed by organisations is in progress. It's great to see the facility being used by organisations, including the recent circus, which I'm told was a big success. So yeah, everything's running smoothly. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, councillor Edgecombe. Any other speakers?
Just a
Councillor
question,
Allgate.
just a question, Mr. Mayor. I wonder about the harness racing. There appears to be no booking or no information yet about whether or not harness racing will take place. Is there a reason for that?
Councillor Edgecombe, was it?
There's been a little discussion at the committee about that. I think they wanted to have 2 this year. There's nothing really progressed with it. I don't know if it's they're trying to find enough horses, because I know they need to have so many in reserve if they're scratchings. But yeah, so I don't know where it's sitting with that, but that'd be amazing if that can happen. So hopefully that occurs in the future.
Yeah, look, I think the future of harness racing in Broken Hill needs to be focused on particularly the St. Pat's weekend. If we can get harness racing happening at the same as St. Pat's weekend, I'm sure that we'll be able to get enough horses for the 6 races that they require. If we can do that, then at least we'll be able to keep harness racing going by starting with that one event that has always been well supported by the community, and then we can grow from there. But just speaking to the people involved with harness racing, they're still working through trying to get it up and running as they speak with Harness Racing New South Wales. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. We move to further reports. Item number 1 is correspondence eligibility for the 88-day Australian program for rural and remote areas on page 67. Moved Deputy Mayor Hickey, seconded Councillor Allgate. Deputy Mayor Hickey.
Thanks, Mayor Kennedy. I read the report, I read the reply back from the Minister's office. Hardly satisfactory with any of that. He didn't answer the questions that we asked. It's just ridiculous that places that are so isolated can't get these workers. And because you've got a postcode of Broken Hill, you've got a postcode of Wentworth, and the isolated places that have to use those postcodes because they were forced on by the government anyway. It just doesn't make sense. And he talked about the Dharma. That, well, I heard on the news during the week that Iran have just been knocked back they want to extend the Dharma out to here and have been knocked back for it. Yeah. So he can discount that one as well, the next to his comments. And I think we should, my opinion, we write back to the Minister and just, really, really plead with him that these towns be looked at and seriously, because we're going to lose pubs, we're going to lose cafes.
Well, let's go a step further. Let's ask for a pub. Roy's big into, I know it's federal, but into public inquiries, perhaps an inquiry, a state level inquiry into the effect of it's having on New South Wales towns may get the federal government to take us a little bit more serious. So if you're happy
I'd certainly
to
support that, yeah.
send a correspondence saying how disappointed we are that more is not being done by the federal government, and we send to our local memorandum minister. But at number 4, that we also write to our local state member, Roy Butler, to look to a parliamentary inquiry into the effects of not having those visas in isolated areas within New South Wales.
Yeah, most of them.
Seconded, happy with that?
Yes.
Would you like to speak further to that,
Could I
Councillor?
just mention?
Councillor Allgate.
Oh, sorry.
No, Councillor Allgate, go.
I just wanted to mention that the Minister's response was basically that thanks for your correspondence. Nothing will change until there's a review of the working holiday maker guidelines, with no indication of when that might be.
Yeah, well, if Roy does take up our request, at least when they do review that, they may take into account what's happened at a New South Wales parliamentary inquiry, rather than take the word of a number of people that sit here in Broken Hill that understand the true ramifications of places like Milparinka, Pack Saddle, Tipperburra, and Pooncarie, because it does affect them greatly, and it can be the difference between not only the businesses in those towns succeeding or failing, but also the success of the town itself. So they don't understand that. Perhaps if they get that information by a government authority, that they will take it seriously. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Item number 2 is correspondence report from the ANZ Bank. It is on page 72. Moved Deputy Mayor Hickey, seconded Councillor Allgate. Deputy Mayor Hickey.
Thanks, Mayor Kennedy. Once again, a very disappointing reply from the ANZ Bank. All the excuses under the sun, but no real. And we're not going to close, but they've done an agreement with the post office, so you can see where that's heading. That all the smaller towns that that aren't warranted, they'll put them in the post office, and that'll be the end of that. The post, as we've seen in the past, the post office a few years later decided they don't want to do it. That's the end of it, so it closes. Very disappointing. They say he goes on to tell us how good he is about reopening the Chinchilla branch. Well, I think they realise the chinchilla is growing very quickly, and that they might be losing a few dollars there. So they've changed their opinion of that one. But just want to note that very disappointed in the reply.
If you'd just like to add to that we write back saying that even though there was a half-hearted commitment there, that we get a commitment that the ANZ branch, the local branch, the Broken Hill branch is guaranteed to continue to operate within the coming years.
Yeah, the other one. Yep.
Yep, happy
do that.
Seconded.
I think you do say that in the. There are no plans firmly.
Yeah, beyond, so beyond.
Yeah.
what's written in there.
Yeah.
So it's only up to 2027. So if you
Yeah.
beyond the 2027 period that's mentioned in the document.
Yep.
The fact that they mention
A
nothing will happen between now and then, but
It's only a year.
it will happen. It will happen.
Yeah, yeah. So if we can get a commitment well beyond that date from them, I think that gives people more confidence than August 2027. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Item number 3 is the investment report for February. On page 75, do we have a mover for that?
Move.
Councillor Allgate.
Move the recommendation.
Seconded. Councillor Gillett, Councillor Allgate.
All I'd say, Mr Mayor, is that we're lucky to have the staff that we have at the moment. The council decisions and the staff that are acting upon and drawing off their knowledge. We're sitting pretty well under the circumstances when you look at these uncertain times that we're going through. Every day we find that there's something, there's more problems, if not here, elsewhere, but they all affect us here. And yet we're travelling pretty good. And I think it's good, really good.
Deputy Mayor.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor Kennedy. I'd like the same staff looking after my superannuation if they could, please, instead of people that I've got. Thank you.
That's a pecuniary interest you have to declare, Councillor Hickey. Look, people need to keep in mind that with the war going on in Iran, even if it does stop fairly quickly, the price of oil and the effect that that on costs has on particularly places like Broken Hill and the amount of money that council will have to pay out in services, it will affect our budget going into the future. There's no doubt about that. I'm sure that the council will, or council staff will do all they can to come back with what as close to a break-even budget as we can get. But councillors do need to keep in mind, and looking at that investment report, even though it's going fairly well, the Iran war and the price of fuel going up over that period will impact council's ability to stay in surplus budget. So you need to keep that in mind going forward. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Item number 4 is the local transport forum held in March on page 91 of the business paper. Councillor Allgate, moved, seconded. Councillor Chandler, Councillor Allgate.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. It's the same old story. Most of the issues were related to parking.
Yeah.
And some have been resolved. There was a decision has been made by the Traffic Forum to change one of the two taxi ranks in front of the Democratic Club, and to make one of those a ride share Uber service pickup point. And they'll use, instead of angle parking, they'll make that angle taxi park a parallel park, so that it's easier for the cabs or whatever they're using to get into the curb and get people out that may be disabled or incapacitated in any way. The other more important matters was the Anzac Day traffic management plan has been adopted and approved by the committee. The parking, and there's been complaints about parking in Railway Parade. There's a corner as you come off the main road into Railway Parade, and apparently there's problems being expressed about the dangers of hitting other vehicles. So the council will look at the existing parking layout there and see what can be done. A request for additional disability parking space adjacent to the front of the Democratic Club was issued by a medical practitioner's business that was in the same area. There's already 2 spaces available, so it's considered that there's sufficient there for that, so it was refused. council to convert the last two angle parking positions adjacent to the dialysis unit at the hospital that have been temporary at the moment, that have been made permanent. That's resulted from, I think, discussions with the hospital and the traffic forum. I raised a complaint about angle parking in Chloride Street at the Morgan Street intersection, particularly on the hospital side. There were angle parking up fairly close to the intersection, and those people coming down from Morgan Street in turning right, coming down Morgan Street from the hospital end, turning right into Chloride had no line of sight view. So the committee's given a decision to remove two of the angle parks and put a single parallel park in there, and install no stopping signs and other things to make the intersection more safe. There was a request from the YMCA to have a pedestrian crossing from the YMCA building across to Sturt Park. The committee or the forum considered that wasn't practical. It's too close to the T junction. It would have taken up numerous car parking spaces, which is not a good position in any form. But the fact that it's right on the T junction, it presented a hazard and was considered not needed. There's 5 taxing zones, I think, it's management of infrastructure that have been converted to rideshare Uber services, which is a big thing because they've been crying out for parking spaces in the CBD. And one thing, although it's not resolved completely, the representative from the Transport for New South Wales gave the forum an idea that it looks like the Transport for New South Wales might take over all of the alterations that might be needed to the Burkeward School traffic lights. It seems that whilst it's not official, it seems that on the basis of the representative from Transport New South Wales, that they look like stepping in and doing the work.
Excellent.
That's about it, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, councillor Allgate. Any other comments? All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Item number 5 is the action list report on page 115. We have a move for that. Move councillor Gillett, seconded councillor Chandler. Councillor Gillett.
It's very interesting reading through this to see that some of the ones that are still in yellow have been going on for quite some time, and it's got lots of ramifications. But it's also good to see how much green is in here too. Much hard work has been done.
Yeah, it's always good to get things finished. A lot of those yellow that are in the back of or in the action list are because of other people other than the council staff. So it can be, if you read through that yellow, it's council's corresponded, contacted, waiting for response. So a lot of the yellow that's in that action list is not the fault of council, but the fault of some of the people that are to corresponds back with council. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. We go to questions taken on notice from the previous council meeting. It's item number 1 on page 134. Do we have a mover for that? Move councillor Chandler, seconded councillor Gillett. Councillor Chandler.
No, it'd be good to see this go ahead anyway, if we can do it financially and it works out well.
Yeah, thank you. Any other speakers? All those in favour, declare it carried. We move to item number 15, which is questions arising from items on the agenda. Questions taken on those for the next meeting. Do we have any questions? No. We'll move on to confidential matters. We call for a mover and a seconder to go into close. Move councillor Gillett, seconded councillor Page. Before we go into closed session, I just want to advise, before we put it to the vote, as per council meeting practice, members of the public can apply to make representations to council as to whether the meeting should be closed for council to consider a particular item. In the opinion of the general manager, the item listed for consideration is closed session. This meeting is kind as referred to as section 10A2 of the Local Government Act, which is commercial in confidence. Before I put it, does anyone want to make mention of that? So from now on, it's just so councillors understand that the public can give 3 days notice if they wish to say that a matter should not be listened to in confidential, but it should be listened to in open council. No? All those in favour? Carried unanimously. We just have one We'll just, oh no, I'll just do it. Invite the general manager to report on the resolution the council made during closed session.
Thank you, Mayor Kennedy. Council resolved item 1, tender 225/19 Aquatic Centre Management Contract. Council resolved 1, that Broken Hill City Council Report number 38/26 dated March 19, 2026 be received. 2, that Broken Hill City Council awards tender T25/19 as per the recommendation in this report. 3, that the general manager be authorised to negotiate and finalise the conditions of contract with the preferred tenderer inclusive of performance KPIs. 4, that the general manager be authorised to negotiate subsequent years 2 and 3 of the initial contract term. And 5, that the general manager and or mayor be authorised to sign the contract and affix the seal of council if required. Thank you, Mayor Kennedy.
Thank you, General Manager. As there is no further business for council to consider, I declare the ordinary council meeting closed